Thank you for inviting me. Can you all see me? This camera right in front of you, or should I stand here?
You go somewhere here. Inside or yours? Either. We'll move the camera.
So there's a lot of space with such, only 30 people. I cannot be a small group. So let me begin by, I think the best way to begin is by telling a story, because just to get ahead, little differently. So when I tell people, let me tell you something about my work, and then I got there. I was trained in medicine, and I worked in the pharmaceutical industry. So I'm not basically a clinical doctor. I am a So I trained in medicine, and I worked in the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry for 14 years. And in my free time, I used to work on mythology, which was my hobby. And all the time when I was in the industry, I was working for Apollo, I was working for Sanofi Aventis, and in projects for Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson. I was working first as a vendor, then I was a content manager, then I was a marketing manager, sales manager, training manager, then I became an executive assistant to the managing director. I was working in the corporate world. In my free time on Saturday, Sunday, I would sit and write on Ramayana, Mahabharata, because it was my hobby. And then I started noticing something interesting. All the problems I would see at work, I would find solutions in management, in these mythological stories. And I would tell this in my friends, I would tell them in my free time, look at this situation, it is something like this in the Ramayana, this is something like that. And they used to find it very amusing and interesting. So somebody one day, one of my friends who is a journalist, told me, why don't you write for us? So I started writing the corporate dossier. It was supposed to be only 10 articles, not more than 10 articles. And I wrote those 10 articles, and it became so popular that they extended it, and now it's going on for 4 years. And one of the articles caught the attention of someone called Kishore Biyani. And Kishore Biyani was at that time, the Big Bazaar thing had picked up, everybody was talking about Big Bazaar, Future Group, retail industry, India Rising, all these words were going around. So he called me for a meeting. And we had a very interesting conversation, because I told him what I think of mythology, and I think of, I think I just sit down. And at the end of the conversation, and that conversation was about 4 years ago, he said, why don't you join my company? So I said, what will I do? I mean, the company offers, what will I do? He said, वो मेरे ऊपर छोड़ दो, तुम्हें क्यों चिंता है? तुम्हें पैसे मिल जाएंगे ना? So I was like, okay, fine. And he said, and he was very generous. The offer was very, very generous. It was almost double of what I was earning at that time. So I was like, is he crazy? Why is he paying so much money? And that was 4 years ago. And over the years, I think he believed in what I was doing, because you see, what is mythology? And it sounds very strange. Ramayana, Mahabharata ka dhande se kya lena dena? There seems no connection, like completely dur ki baatein. But when you start looking at the stories very carefully, you start observing something interesting. Nai cheezein nikalne lagti. Let me give you an example. So normally we'll look at Ramayana and we'll say Ram ki katha hai, simple. But that is not the way I see Ramayana. I see the story, it is a property dispute. Ramayana is a story of property dispute. And there are 3 families we are talking about. One is in Ayodhya. There the decision is, succession planning is very clear. Eldest son should take the business. And one member of the family says, no, not the eldest son, my son should take over business, and that leads to crisis. Then you come south, you come to a place called Kishkinda, which is the land of monkeys. And over there, the Raja says that the next succession planning is very simple. Says, your 2 brothers, 50-50% share. And what happens, the 2 brothers have a misunderstanding, and the stronger brother kicks the younger brother out. Then you go further south, you come to Lanka. The business is started by one brother, the other brother comes in kicks the first brother out and takes over the entire kingdom and calls himself the king of Lanka, Ravana. And he loves those brothers who obey him. He does not love brothers who don't obey him. Very simple. When I tell the story like this, sounds familiar, no? कहीं ना कहीं तो आपने देखा है सब कुछ, वानर को देखा है, राक्षस को देखा है, and राम को भी देखा है. And suddenly Ramayana is not Ramayana, it is about our life. Or Mahabharata is a very interesting story. In Mahabharata, the confusion is, although contrary to popular belief, nobody knows who is the eldest brother. Nobody knows कि 105 princes in the family, पहला बच्चा कौन किसको पता नहीं है. ब्लड लाइन ठीक नहीं है, किसी का फादर कौन है, मदर कौन है, it's all very confused. So it is not very clear from the Ayodhya point of view. If you use the Ayodhya principle कि जो बड़ा बेटा है उसको राजा बना दो, that cannot be applied. So first step is out. Second, divide it equally. But how can you divide? On one side there are 100, on the other side there are 5. How can you divide it equally? If you divide it proportionately, then it is unfair because one party will get much more than the other party. And third, who will kick whom out? Because the kingdom has to be shared. Because nobody has created the kingdom. None of them have created the kingdom. So who claims कि ये property मेरा है? It's a highly confused place where nobody is sure who should take over the kingdom. And that is exactly that happens in management. I replace the word kingdom / property / with any job. So you have got 4 people who work for you and only one promotion is possible. The moment you promote one person, the other 3 get rebel, they get angry. They say, "Aapne inko kyun select kiya?" And issues start in organizations. And for me, that is the time when I realized that Ramayana and Mahabharata are very good management stories. They are telling us a lot of ideas that can be used in practical day-to-day life. So I went deeper. And this is what I explained to Vishwarji, and he was also very excited by this. He was saying that, he was telling that, I'll tell you something about Big Bazaar, some of the principles that started. Now, of course, it's going through a lot of turmoil. But when retail started in India, people would take the model from Walmart or from Carrefour and they would apply it in India. Without looking carefully, कि देखो, अमेरिका में the person who goes to Walmart, उसकी गाड़ी होती है. वो गाड़ी में जाता है, महीने में एक बार जाता है, उसको efficiency चाहिए, फटाफट खरीदता है, buys in bulk, puts it in the car and goes. इंडिया में जो शॉपिंग करता है, 90% of the people don't have cars. When they go shopping, they usually go with their family. When they go, otherwise regular food comes to the house directly. किराना वाला घर में भेज देता है. Or day-to-day shopping, the lady can just get out and do nearby. But when there's a major shopping to be done, everybody goes together. They will go maybe in a rickshaw. If they have a car or scooter, they can't buy bulk. They can't buy large products. They usually buy during festival time. And when they go, they also want to eat at the same time. They want to have a good khana kuch khayenge. So suddenly you had the concept of food court. पहले नहीं था mall. This whole concept of Walmart में food court नहीं होता है. You go, you shop, you come. There will be a coffee shop outside. But this whole idea of food court, because बच्चे वहाँ जाएंगे, then if husband, wife and children are there, they will not enter the same shop together. So if you go to Big Bazaar, the women's section, the men's section, the children's section are all mixed. Why? Because you can't tell wife will go to one room and the husband will go to another room. It doesn't work like that. You'll be together and you can't, the husband will get bored when the wife is there doing her shopping. So how do I ensure that both are entertained at the same time? Now this was his model. This is what I told him. I didn't tell him anything. I didn't know about retail. I am coming from the pharma industry. So I said, he said, ये Western thought का मतलब क्या? That is the question he asked me. बस Western, ये जब बोलते हैं पाश्चात्य Western, उसका मतलब क्या है? He just asked me a question. I didn't know it was a trick question. But I said, see, when you look at the Western खाने का तरीका देखिए. Tradition, if you go to a good restaurant in Europe or America, खाना कैसे परोसा जाता है, पहले सूप आएगा, उसके बाद स्टार्टर आएगा, उसके बाद मेन कोर्स आएगा, उसके बाद डेजर्ट आएगा. So 4 course, पहला, only when you finish the soup, you will get the main course. Only, I mean the starter. Only when you finish the starter, will you get the main course. Only when you get the main course, after you finish the main course, you will get the dessert. So it is clearly sequential, one after the other, categorized. Who decides the food? The chef and the host decide what you're going to eat. What you can do with the food? Thoda salt or pepper add karke, you can't do anything more than changing that taste. Maybe a little sauce if you can. But now look at a traditional Indian way of serving food. It's a thali. All things are served simultaneously. So let's say one of you all will start eating, you will say rice and dal. Somebody will add pickle to it. Somebody will add papad to it. Somebody will add gulab jamun to it. It is allowed. And everybody is eating something different because the proportions that you have mixed are different. So the cook, the person who prepared the meal really doesn't know what you're tasting because it is the ultimate in customization. So you have got a standardized Western meal and a customized Indian meal. जो बचपन से वेस्टर्न मील में चला हुआ है, he is comfortable with central control and sequential categorized food. बचपन से जो इंडिया में रहा है, he is used to simultaneous food that I control. I decide finally what I want to eat. So he is very more self-absorbed. He is not comfortable with central control. I told him this and he started to laugh. He said, यही तो बिग बाजार है, बिग बाजार थाली है, 4 course meal नहीं है, सब चीज साथ में सर्व होता है. हमारे बाजार ऐसे होते हैं, सब साथ में होता है. There will be a jewelry shop next to a bhaji shop, which is unheard of in the rest of the world. Jewelry shop is in a different part. Sorry, vegetable shop. But today in a typical bazaar, or if you go to NG Road market, everything is next to each other. And he said Indians are used to looking at things, and everybody wants to customize themselves. उनको अच्छा नहीं लगता तुम customize करके दो. We love variety. We love new things. So we are the way that Indians think is slightly different. So suddenly from food habits, we understood retail consumer behavior, and he said this is pattern thinking. And that is how I and Kishorji sort of got together, because stories, the purpose of stories is they tell us something about how we think. रामायण महाभारत tells us how people think. रामायण महाभारत को इतिहास शब्द बोलते हैं. इतिहास doesn't necessarily mean history. It means ऐसा था, ऐसा है, ऐसा ही रहेगा. And it's a way of how we think. So let me give, since you all are CEOs, let's take a common issue. I mean, I'm assuming certain structures that I don't know individual companies, but broadly, let's understand the CEO from a structural point of view. So look at a Amrit Manthan. Amrit Manthan क्या होता है? क्षीरसागर होता है, the ocean of milk. You have somebody churning it. एक तरफ there are 2 parties and there is वो churning करने से वहां से अमृत निकलता है. And a CEO is conducting really a क्षीरसागर में अमृत मंथन. Amrit is your balance sheet. It's your top line, bottom line, cash flow, whatever you want to call it. Your revenue. That's your Amrit, which you're going to remove. क्षीरसागर क्या है? Is your market. Whatever your market. In order to get Amrit from that market, you have an organization. That organization is that Meru Parbat, whatever you want to call it. And then you have 2 things in a company. You have a force and a counter force. So look at your company again and you will realize you have a force and a counter force. And the force and counter force can be either vertical or horizontal. Let me first explain the vertical because that is more important for a CEO. If you're not CEOs, I will talk first of the horizontal. But for you all, this is an assumption, I don't exactly know what your structures are because you have to be owners of the company also. But typically a CEO is located between the organization and the owner or shareholder. He is located in between. तो मिथोलॉजी में कहते हैं कि शिव जी दो जगह पे रहते हैं। एक जगह होता है कैलाश पर्वत, वहां पे पहाड़ के ऊपर बैठे दूर, एयर कंडीशन स्नो, नो कनेक्शन विद रियलिटी। और दूसरा होता है काशी, काशी के विश्वनाथ। काशी इज अ बाजार, इज अ मार्केट प्लेस, जहां पे लेन देन की बात होती है। So every day the CEO has to deal with the shareholders who have no touch with reality, far away from the marketplace, only looking at market capitalization, valuation. On the other side, you have Kashi, where your customer is there. जो खरीदता है आपसे, आपका वेंडर, आपका कस्टमर, आपका डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर, who is asking you for discounts, who is asking you for deals, who is asking you for the logistical issues that you face every day, मारामारी चलता रहता है। यहां से रेवेन्यू आती है, वैल्यू आता है। तो काशी नीचे, ऊपर कैलाश। If what happens in this journey, अमृत आता है। One will say I want top line, top line, top line. The other will say bottom line, bottom line, bottom line. One will say value, 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 value. The other will say valuation, 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 valuation. And that is a manthan, churning, these two force and counter force. Or now let's look at horizontal. So this is a vertical churning which every CEO goes through. The owner wants something, the employees want something, the market wants something. This upstream and downstream, force and counter force. So you have your boss and your subordinate. The problem is what? Value comes from Kashi. Salary comes from Kailash. तो किसको ध्यान दें? तो मंथन ही हुआ ना, churning is going on. Now let's look at horizontal manthan. Let's look at horizontal manthan. On one side you have finance, whose main aim is conserve cash or check return on investment. They're obsessed with processes because auditors are going to check. Internal auditors, external auditors. Process. Finance department. On the other side, you have human resource department, which is saying, listen, you have to pay people more, otherwise you can't motivate them. So, ज़्यादा bonus दे दो इनको. Hire more people, they are overworked. And if you look at the two departments, the human resource department is almost a cost center. And the other side, you have the finance department, which is trying to conserve cost. And you constantly find conflict. Or you replace the human resource department, depending on the nature of your company, the marketing department. Marketing department spends money and there is no way to prove whether that marketing activity has a return on investment. So super tension. Finance guy is tension. Boss, पैसा नहीं आ रहा है, खर्चा करते रह रहे हो. Marketing guy gets very disturbed. Marketing and finance are at loggerheads. In mythology, the god associated with accounting is called Yamraj. Yamraj, जो god of death is also god of accounting. इसलिए आप अगर दिवाली देखें तो लास्ट डे ऑफ दिवाली इज यमद्वितीया, भाई दूज जिसको बोलते हैं, इज यमद्वितीया. वो किसका भाई? लक्ष्मी का भाई है. बिकॉज वो हिसाब किताब रखता है कि लक्ष्मी भाग गई या घर पे है. तो यमराज on one side. On the other side is the human resource department. This marketing department is associated with Kamadeva, god of desire, god of love, god of thinking, god of imagination. Now look at the two forces. One is Kamadev, ideas, ideating, marketing, thinking big, has fantastic ideas, but is also irresponsible. Kamdev is irresponsible. वो तीर छोड़ता और भूल जाता है. On the other side you have Yamraj, जिसके हाथ में पाश होता है, lasso, string. वो पकड़ के रखता है कि नहीं, red debt. You have taken this money, उसका return दिखाओ. Doesn't smile at all. He's only interested in return on investment. So one is only interested in investing, the other is interested in return on investment. Yama and Kama, two forces at work. Churning is happening. One becomes too strong. Yamaraj zyada strong ho gaye, company will collapse. Kamdev becomes too powerful, the company will collapse because he'll only spend and there will be no return. And that's the left and right model. And look at this vertical and this horizontal. This is Amrit Manthan. But the problem which happens in organizations is that we have to look at a churn very carefully. And this is the structure which the mythology texts talk. They are using the word churn. Churn means force and counter force. Let's look at the physics of a churn. When the force is powerful, the counter force has to become weak. When the counter force becomes powerful, the force has to become weak. Only then it will work. Any mechanical engineer will tell better. The force churning happens when एक को छोड़ना पड़ता है, दूसरा चलाता है. Then the other person lets go, the other person pulls. But the biggest problem that happens in organizations is we don't work in churns. It turns into a tug of war. मंथन का मतलब है एक पुल करता है, एक छोड़ता है, एक पुल करता है, एक छोड़ता है. उसको पता है कब छोड़ना. But often in organizations, tug of war चलता है. Either between Kailash and Kashi or between Yamraj and Kamadev. This tug of war destroys the organization and affects Amrita, revenue, top line, whatever you decide is your revenue, whatever is your Lakshmi. And if at all you find that somewhere in the balance sheet ki paisa nahi aa raha hai, probably first problem is market mein problem hai. मतलब वो क्षीरसागर गड़बड़ है. But very rarely, there are situations where that is the problem. But then everybody in your industry would be suffering. But if everybody in your industry is not suffering, only you are suffering, the problem is with the churn. And the question is, problem kahan pe hai? Vertically up or vertically down? Horizontally left or horizontally right? And just check, tug of war chalu hai ki churning chalu hai. Just check that. And you will be surprised how many times tug of war takes place. In fact, a simple example of it is the Indian Parliament. Stalemate. Opposition is not there to block, it is there to pull and push. Pull and push. This has gone, it has become tug of war. Everybody is stretching simultaneously. Nothing is emerging. The country's economy has collapsed. Same applies to organizations. Same simple principle of churning out Lakshmi. So this is one way in which you look at mythology. It is revealing ideas, structures, thoughts that provokes us to think, makes us question, makes us wonder, kya hai mythology? This is what I've been doing for the last 2-3 years, full time. And Aurangabad Management Association has called me, so that's what I do. If you have any questions on this topic, I think we can now engage in a dialogue. Thank you.
Mics.
You have modern management science.
Yes.
You have
You can take these, just keep different tables. Yes.
Yeah, you have the modern management science, which preaches certain things.
Yes.
Whether it's to deal with organization structure or management by objectives, etc.
Yes.
And there might be a model that might emerge out of the Indian beliefs or the Indian mythology. What are the significant differences? You must have.
See, modern management is based on a biblical structure. It's based on the Bible, very clearly. So how do you build? If you start a business, they will say, "Pehle vision kya hai? Mission kya hai? Objective kya hai? Goal kya hai? Target kya hai?" यहाँ से आप शुरू करते हैं. This is a classical. If you read the book of Exodus, business begins by deciding what is the promised land. And you want to go to the promised land, so the prophet first tells you, do you want to go to the promised land? You say, yes. Then you have to follow the prophet. And the prophet will say, please follow these rules, the commandments. ये do's and don'ts है. If you follow the do's and don'ts, we will reach the promised land. And when you read the Bible, my phone. So, when you read the Bible, the biggest problem in the Bible is that people are not able to comply. So now look at the compliance is a big issue. So even when God gives the rules in writing, people are not aligning. So when you read modern management, you'll always hear words like alignment, ethics, so commandments, systems, processes, targets, promised land. They will talk about regulators, auditors, which is basically preventing non-compliance. So the entire what we call modern management is actually Western management based on biblical principles. Is it universally applicable? I don't know. For example, the biblical structure is based on the notion of contract. So भगवान के साथ when you go to the promised land, first you sign a covenant, baptism जिसको कहते हैं, which is contract. This concept does not exist in China, doesn't exist in India. So neither Indians nor Chinese understand what a contract is from a emotional side. They can understand it intellectually, we all understand, but it is not part of the ethos. But we have adopted these practices. But you'll observe Indians are very loose when it comes to contract. They're not very strong. In fact, joint ventures fail in India because of that. What is the Indian model? The Western model is obsessed with target, task, right and wrong. So these words, target, task, right, wrong, Western. Indian model is आदमी कौन है? So talent or people. Now that person can be either the consumer or the employee or your boss, the shareholder. आदमी कौन है? With whom are you dealing? First point. Second, context क्या है? In what situations? So all decisions are depending on the context. And third, इसका consequence क्या है? These are the points on which Western Indian management thrives. They're there in Western management, but they don't take the first. They are not the dominant principles. The dominant principle is always target, task, rules, structures, right and wrong, therefore audit. Dominant. Indian thought, right wrong situation के हिसाब से होता है. अकाल के समय जो रूल्स होता है वो बम्पर हार्वेस्ट के टाइम नहीं होता है. तो जैसा सिचुएशन है, मार्केट जैसा है वैसा रूल्स बनेगा. आदमी कौन है? किसके साथ बात कर रहे हो? बॉस के साथ बात कर रहे हो, शेयर होल्डर के साथ बात कर रहे हो, बैंक के साथ बात कर रहे हो. विद एवरी पर्सन योर कन्वर्सेशन इज डिफरेंट. द वेस्ट विल कॉल दिस hypocrisy. You are not transparent. You are not consistent. Indians will say, नहीं आदमी को देख के बात करो ना. You can't say the same. So, for example, classical American professors giving lectures in India, they have a standard presentation. और वही presentation repeat करते रहेंगे सब जगह. Notice I am not making I do use presentations, but I never repeat the same topic because every time this conversation is controlled by who you are. So the first 5 minutes I am trying to sense ये रूम में कौन बैठे हुए हैं. Before this meeting I had asked somebody that what is the primary concern. In the morning I had asked, please tell me something about औरंगाबाद. यहाँ का पैसा कहाँ से बनता है? इसका industry क्या है? What is happening in the market? Why am I doing this? I am preparing myself for the context. तो आदमी कौन है? Context क्या है? क्या बोलना है? Now if you are replaced, just 2 hours ago I had professors and teachers. The talk was very different. I can't say what I tell a professor because उसका issue अलग है, CEO का issue अलग है. So this is what I'm following is an Indian. If I was following a Western model, I'll have that 10 slides. सुबह भी वही दिखाऊंगा, दोपहर को भी वही दिखाऊंगा, रात को भी वही दिखाऊंगा. Because standard. Customization नहीं हो रहा है. So this is the broad difference between Indian and Western.
Sir, you said something about joint venture.
Yes.
Joint ventures in India are very
Yeah.
Can you just correlate some joint ventures in mythology?
There are no joint ventures in mythology because there is no concept of equal partnership. This is something that people don't understand. Joint ventures are based on equal partnership. Indian thought is जब खट्टा होता है तो मीठा ऐड करना पड़ता है, जब मीठा होता है तो खट्टा ऐड करना पड़ता है. So you're constantly playing with the rules of the game. So there's no concept of, so the Vanar Sena is helping Ram. Why? Hanuman's reasons are different, Sugriev's reasons are different, Angad's reasons are different. All three are following Ram, but for three totally different reasons. Sugriv because contractual obligation. I helped you, you helped me. Angad because my stepfather is telling me to do it. I better do it, otherwise my Rajgati nahi chalega. Hanuman because I have to learn something from this strange person. ये मुझे कुछ नया सोचने का तरीका दिखा रहा है. This man has decided to give up his kingdom, so it's a more personal development. So it looks like a joint venture. Vanar, Ram together, but they are not. They are actually one person and different individuals and following different. But from a दूर से देखोगे तो दिखता है joint venture. The Indian method is नहीं किसके बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, कौन है वो, क्या कर रहा है, किसके साथ joint venture किया है, for what is he done, what is his family background, उसका intention क्या है. So that is how they will look at it. Classical Western joint venture is contract, document, words. The people don't matter. But if you go higher and higher, I realize more and more across the world, it's people who matter, not the contract.
I heard that Kishore Bhai has spoken about Karta concept. So was it because of you was in his management, and what is the concept of Karta that he has?
Karta is Kishorji's idea. I brought the concept of Yajman. Let me explain this. There is a I'll tell you a story so that you will understand. So one day, it's a famous Akbar Birbal story, Tenali Raman story, so you can use it anyway. So one day a man comes to Akbar and says, why do you pay let's give this man a name. So this man's name is say Sheikh Chili. Sheikh Chili Akbar के पास आता है, कहता है कि तुम बिरबल को इतना पैसा क्यों देते? So Akbar says, no, he has some qualities. And Sheikh Chili argues, even I have those qualities. I have got those things. मेरे में क्या कमी है? So suddenly, outside the palace, there is a commotion. So Akbar asks Sheikh Chili कि जाके देखो क्या हुआ है. He comes back and says, हमारे रोड पे एक्सीडेंट हुआ है. So he says, किसका एक्सीडेंट हुआ है? दो गाड़ियों का मालिक कौन है? पता नहीं. जाके पूछ के आओ. Sheikh Chili goes and asks. Comes and says, Mr. A, Mr. B का एक्सीडेंट हुआ है. फिर अकबर asks कि डैमेज किसका ज्यादा, who is responsible? Says पूछा नहीं, जाके पूछ के आओ. Goes, asks, comes back. Then he says, अच्छा डैमेज किसका ज्यादा हुआ है? पता नहीं, पूछ के आओ. Again he goes and comes back. 10 times, every time he asks something new, and then finally he gets angry with Akbar. He says, इतना प्रश्न क्यों एक साथ बोलो ना लिस्ट बना के, फिर जाके पूछ के आता हूँ. Then Birbal walks in. And he says, Arey Birbal, there was an accident outside. He said, yeah, I saw it while I was coming over here. So he said, just find out what happened. He says, I know what happened. Mr. A and Mr. B का ऐसा लड़ाई हुआ, ये इसका बगल में इसका घोड़ा इसके ऊपर गया. This is the cost of damage. This is what is going to happen. इनके साथ हमारा ये ताल्लुक है, तो आप यहाँ प्रेशर डाल के ये सॉल्व कर दीजिए. और मैंने वो करवा भी दिया. So Akbar looked at Sheikh Chili and said, अभी उसको पैसे दो या तुझे पैसे दो? वो तो काम मुझसे करवाता है. Yeah, have you seen something like this happening in your office? Yes. Now in this story, the Karta is Akbar. That Sheikh Chili who has to be given instructions all the time is a devata. भगवान है, सब कुछ देना पड़ता है तभी वो करता है काम, अपने आप कुछ नहीं करता। तो देवता, सॉरी नॉट भगवान बट देवता है, बिरबल कार्य करता है, उसको पता है व्हाट हिज ड्यूटीज आर, ही डज इट, बट ही डज इट इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ अकबर, करता। That's a karta. The difference between karta and a yajman is a karta gives instructions and the karyakarta follows it. A yajman enables the karyakarta to take decisions on his own. So actually Akbar is a yajman. That he is not, he doesn't really look at Birbal as तुमको कौन बोला करने के लिए काम, मैंने बोला नहीं था, क्यों किया? That dialogue is the karta dialogue. Karta dialogue is मैंने बोला, कार्यकर्ता करता है. Yajman also enables them to think. So that's the difference. These are the ideas. So in a company, you have to ask yourself कि मेरे पास बहुत देवता हैं, that company will not grow. बहुत कार्य करता है, it will grow little bit more, but it will only grow when it has decision makers, which is kartas. तो उसके लिए अगर आप यजमान नहीं बनोगे और आपका टीम में कर्ता नहीं रहेगा, तो फिर धंधा will remain restricted, won't grow. So he kept using the word karta because he wanted the store managers to take independent decisions. The problem is modern management is not based on this. It's all based on technology, and all technology is centrally controlled. Central control मतलब the local store manager has no power. उसको सिर्फ दुकान में सामान रखना है, सब decision centrally लिया जाता है. And Kishore ji was against this concept. It didn't work. A lot of issues happened. But the system didn't support Kishore ji because he said if the fellow, the dukandar hai, if he doesn't control the dukan, it will collapse. Now hotels work on the karta concept, for example. Every general manager of a hotel, anywhere in Taj, is highly independent. But today, Taj is going the Western model. They are also following the technology-based system. So all decisions set. So the general manager's control is going down. That's a very dangerous trend. So सबको कार्य करता. Western model loves कार्य करता. Because decision making हम बोलेंगे आप करोगे. Indian model is local आदमी को करना चाहिए. And the problem with the local method is it requires a lot of trust. From yajman to become a yajman means you have to trust a lot of people, which requires a lot of individual. So professionalism सब नहीं चलेगा. It has to be very, very trust based. That is a major source of growth.
Like everything has some advantages and disadvantages. What do you see a disadvantage of this Indian way of management?
It requires a lot of time and investment in people. Disadvantage of Indian system is investment in people. Western management doesn't care for people. It cares for shareholder. It cares for institution. It doesn't care for people. But वो नहीं बोलेंगे ऐसे, बोलेंगे no, we are all, but it is not designed like that. It is designed around market capitalization. That was not the original model. The original model of capitalism was very different. But उनका क्या है, इधर से उधर जाएंगे. Either they will think completely like capitalists and say shareholder, or they will become like communist and say worker. तो यहाँ से वहाँ जाते हैं. Like खट्टा या मीठा. They don't think खट्टा मीठा. While Indian model is always about नहीं, 19-20, खट्टा मीठा, because which creates a lot of fuzziness, which is very irritating because you never know कब जा रहा है. It's not very clear. That's the second negative.
You made mention about we follow Western model and then there are challenges.
Yes.
Finally, we say we are in India, so there has to be the Indian model. Now, knowing this for now many years, post-globalization, at least 5-7 years, why you feel we tend to copy models? Why CEO think like we should copy the model? Or why?
So there are two
What
reasons.
do you feel?
Owners, businesses are not growing. Their business reaches a point, फिर वो ऐसा बंद हो जाता है. So that's the biggest problem in India is many mid-sized companies are not able to become big guys. Very few, some are, but to go to the next level from 500 to 5,000 crores, ये एक प्रॉब्लम है. Because the Indian model is designed around many small entities. The Western model is designed around gigantic entities. Very giant, big sizes. So Reliance, for example, follows a very Western model. So it can expand rapidly. That's one reason why Western model became popular. Second reason is because, remember, in last 100 years, we have systematically looked down upon everything Indian. So all knowledge in our classrooms, look at all the textbooks, comes from Europe and America. So somewhere along the line, the mind has been all good ideas come from the West. And also third point, if I might add, is that our understanding of Indian thought is very poor. हम लोग बोलते हैं Indian thought, but उसका विश्लेषण ठीक से नहीं हुआ. In fact, today when I talk to cutting edge scholars, I am more and more convinced कि हम जो बोलते भारतीय है, we really are not 100% sure what it means, because what is written in these English books and what is actually I feel in Bharat Parampara. I'll give you an example. एक एग्जाम्पल देता हूं. यज्ञ शब्द है, यज्ञ. इंग्लिश में उसका ट्रांसलेशन क्या है? फायर सैक्रिफाइस. ये ट्रांसलेशन किसने बनाया? इंडियन ने नहीं बोला, यूरोपियन स्कॉलर ने लिखा. कभी लिखा? 17th सेंचुरी. और अभी टेक्स्ट बुक में भी लिखते हैं फायर सैक्रिफाइस. सैक्रिफाइस का मतलब क्या है? अपना गिविंग अप वन पार्ट ऑफ योरसेल्फ, राइट? But none of the people who actually wrote the word fire sacrifice actually conducted a yajna. They used their knowledge of European rituals to say, they were talking about the story of Isaac, जो भगवान को Jacob का sacrifice देता, the whole story of the sacrifice. Look at a yajna carefully. I elaborate this in the evening session. The evening session revolves around this point. यज्ञ क्या होता है कि एक यजमान होता है, the process owner. He does yajna. He makes an offering and says स्वाहा, ये मैं दे रहा हूं मेरे तरफ से. देवता का आवाहन होता है and he expects देवता उसको तथास्तु देगा. So look at it carefully. यजमान स्वाहा, देवता तथास्तु. Investor, investment, investee, return on investment. It is an exchange. It is not a sacrifice. But all our life, our understanding is yajna is sacrifice. So people keep using the word, but it means exchange, len den. You are actually doing len den even with devata. So this is the Indian concept. इसलिए आज अगर आप शिरडी जाओगे तो देखोगे लोग बोलेंगे मैं चल के आया हूं. क्यों? भगवान से कुछ मांगने आया. मैंने स्वाहा दिया, अभी मैं तथास्तु लूंगा. This concept is consistent for 4,000 years. And len den or exchange is the essence of business, is the essence of trade. Of course, len den kiska, that you can ask whether it is material, spiritual, wo alag hai, but exchange. So our understanding of Indian thought is poor. So at these three levels, one, Western models are designed around these big things. Second reason is we believe that all knowledge has come from the West for some reason. It's changing now. Now that thing is changing. And third is the fact that our understanding of India is very poor. Yes.
You explained that mythological philosophy is more prominent in India and China. So, do you think the progress of China can be related to their mythological principles?
See, mythology is there in every culture. Americans are also thinking mythologically. They are Protestants primarily. They think biblically. So, for example, Peter Drucker, Stephen Covey, all of them are Protestants. So that's why they think target or promised land system. This whole system, method, commandment. Today in the morning session, somebody said Harvard में ethics, very commandment-based structures. So every culture has a mythology. When we use modern, it is mostly Western mythology, Greek mythology also, and by biblical mythology. Indian mythology, Ramayana, Mahabharata, way of thinking. Look at the joint ventures when we spoke about people, Atmiyata, these words will come. Chinese thought revolves around two major principles. One is called Confucius, one is called Tao. Now they are very different methods. Tao is very individualistic. It's all about your life, your life, your life, your life. Confucius is more organization. And there is very clear, it is all about follow the system. Order is most important. Chaos is bad. You should always obey without question. So, obey whom? Obey the elder, obey the boss. So when you go to China, when you go to Japan, they are a highly obedience-driven culture. They love to obey. Very different from India, because हम लोग स्वादानुसार ना, तो nobody likes to obey. We hate obeying. Obedience is, Indians get irritated with the idea of obeying. Except maybe family elders. They hate obeying. That's why we don't like rules. But China, they celebrate obedience of the boss. But the day the boss goes away, they'll forget about it. They'll move to the next boss. Jo bhi boss hai. So it's an obedience culture. So if I were to tell you the story, if you read Sun Tzu and the Art of War, there is a story in which, now look at the story, now you'll never find the story in India. Sun Tzu goes to a king and says, I can make an army out of I can make anybody a soldier. So the king says, the king of China says, what are you saying? How can you make everybody a soldier? He said, हाँ, तो ठीक है, ये मेरा harem है, harem में सब औरतें हैं, उनको soldier बना के दिखाओ. तो इसलिए harem में रानियां भी हैं, हाँ रानियां भी, मेरी पटरानी भी वहाँ पे है, the queen, chief queen is there. So this is fine. So she goes to the Antapur, the ladies' quarters, and he says, all of you all stand in a straight line. So all the women start to laugh and think this mad fellow. So he gives the second time, he says, all of you all stand in a straight line, otherwise I will cut your head off. Everybody starts laughing, the girls are like, kya pagal aadmi. Third time he says, if you don't stand in a straight line, I will cut your head off. Again the women laugh. So he takes the knife, goes to the patrani and cuts her head off. And then he says, please stand in a straight line, otherwise I'll cut your head off. What do you think has happened this time? Everybody stands in a straight line. This is management model China. India में नहीं चलेगा.
We said many times that customer is God.
Yes.
It's a very common phrase. But actually producer also is God, and both of them should say that there is a God present in all. So this should be the concept all over in the company. So like employee should say that employee is God,
Yes.
and the reverse way also should be there. Then value addition and innovation should come into the picture. So that the you more than this principle should come into. So what do you want to say for tomorrow's leadership on this? Only we should move towards the customer is God, or it should come to the producer also is God.
See, customer is God concept comes from the West, which believes in monotheism. एक ही भगवान होता है. So when you tell them anything else that ये भी भगवान है, they can't understand. Because एक ही भगवान होता है, the Western concept. इंडिया में कैसे होता है? इष्ट देवता, ग्रह देवता, ग्राम देवता, वन देवता, सबका देवता होता है. So सब देवता है. तो आपकी कंपनी में जितने लोग काम करते हैं सब देवता हैं. आपके ऊपर जो काम करते हैं वो देवता है, नीचे काम करते हैं वेंडर देवता है, जो ट्रक ड्राइवर भी देवता है, डोरमैन भी कर, ईच वन इमेजिन्स हिमसेल्फ एंड वी फंक्शन. इसलिए हमारे यहाँ यज्ञ सबके साथ करना पड़ता है. कौन कब नाराज हो जाएगा पता नहीं, और अगर नाराज हो गया तो काम ठप. ट्रक ड्राइवर गेट्स अपसेट, फिनिश्ड, लॉजिस्टिक्स है सब. So Indian concept is sab devata because Bhagwan सबके अंदर है. It's a very Western. This idea of looking at only one God is very Western. Indian concept, everybody is divine, which means everybody is capable of giving tathastu. Problem is सब लोग यहाँ देवता बन के बैठे हैं कि जितना अगर जब तक स्वाहा नहीं देगा तब तक तथास्तु नहीं मिलेगा. इतना पैसा में इतना ही मिलेगा. That dialogue is देवता. इसलिए ग्रोथ नहीं हो रहा है. Growth will only happen when people move from devata to कार्यकर्ता, कार्यकर्ता टू कर्ता, कर्ता टू यजमान। ये जर्नी जब तक नहीं होगा ग्रोथ नहीं होगा। दैट्स माय पॉइंट। ठीक है, लंच स्वाहा का टाइम मैंने स्वाहा कर दिया मेरा तथास्तु। ठीक है।
Sir, don't you think that even the modern management, biblical management, what
Yes.
we were discussing, most of the principles are even from Arthashastra and our principles like FIFO, all these principles are already present in Arthashastra and all. Even
See,
the Chanakya principles and all of politics.
but it's not clearly elucidated. See, everybody says that, but I have not found a single book जहाँ पे लिखा गया है कि ये 10 चीजें दिखाओ। Because I have been asking people, everybody says शास्त्रों में लिखा है, मुझे दिखाओ। जब मैं शास्त्रियों को भी पूछता हूँ, दिखाओ मुझे कि इकोनॉमिक प्रिंसिपल्स कहाँ पे दिखाए हुए हैं, and they come up with these very spiritual ideas. I am interested in balance sheet, nothing beyond that. I was just telling earlier, बैलेंस शीट ठीक नहीं है, मुझे बैलेंस शीट दिखाओ, देन आई विल टॉक। चाणक्य इज अ वेरी वेस्टर्न बाय द वे स्ट्रक्चर। चाणक्य इज नॉट इंडियन। अगर नाम इंडियन है लेकिन चाणक्य का डिजाइन, इफ यू लुक एट इट, रूल, स्ट्रक्चर, प्रिंसिपल्स, ऑडिट, इट्स अ वेरी वेस्टर्न स्ट्रक्चर। उसमें स्वाहा तथास्तु वाला बात नहीं होता है, वहां पे जस्ट मार मार के काम कराओ। सिंपल स्ट्रक्चर है। ठीक है जी, थैंक यू।
After this food for thought, we'll be moving to the actual food counters. But yeah, prior to that, I would invite Chairman AMA, Shri C.P. Tripathi ji,